If you grew up with no real friends as a kid, people probably made you feel like something was wrong with you. Too quiet, too weird, too shy, too different. But what if that experience didn't just leave scars? What if it quietly built strengths that most people around you don't even have? This video is about the hidden effect of having no friends as a kid and the 4 powerful traits many of these kids carry into adulthood, often without realizing it. This isn't about blaming anyone or pretending loneliness didn't hurt. It did. But psychology shows that when we go through difficult experiences early in life, our mind adapts. It finds ways to protect us. And sometimes those protections turn into rare advantages later on. So as you listen, notice which of these sound like you. You might recognize parts of yourself you've never given credit for. Trait number 1, deep self-awareness and emotional independence. When you don't have many friends as a kid, you often have to become your own companion. No one is really asking how your day was. No one is checking in on how you feel. So you end up doing that for yourself. Psychology shows that people who spend more time alone as children often develop stronger internal conversations. They think through their feelings, replay events in their minds, and try to make sense of why they feel the way they do. You might notice this in yourself now. You analyze your emotions instead of just reacting. You can usually explain why you're upset instead of just saying, "I don't know." You're able to comfort yourself without always needing someone else to fix it. Maybe as a kid, you lay in bed at night going over every little thing that happened at school, wondering what you could have done differently. At the time, it felt painful and obsessive. But over the years, it trained you to really understand your own inner world. That's deep self-awareness. And emotional independence shows up when you don't need constant validation to feel okay. You can spend time alone without panicking. You can make decisions without asking 10 people what they think first. Research indicates that people who learn to rely on themselves emotionally can become more stable in the long run. They're less likely to be completely shattered by every disagreement or rejection because their entire self-worth isn't built on other people's approval. The positive side? You're not too independent. You're not cold or distant. You learned early on that if no one else is really there for you, you at least have to be there for yourself. That self-reliance can become a powerful anchor in your adult life, especially in relationships, work, and times of stress. Trait number 2, hyperobservation and reading the room. Kids who don't fit in often become the ones who sit on the sidelines and watch. You're on the edge of the group at recess. You're at the table, but not really in the conversation. You're walking home alone, replaying how everyone else seemed to connect so easily. Instead of talking, you're observing. Psychology shows that people who feel left out or excluded can become more sensitive to social details. Their brain pays extra attention to tone, body language, and tiny shifts in mood, almost as a survival strategy. If I can understand what's going on, maybe I can avoid getting hurt again. As an adult, this might look like you can walk into a room and instantly sense tension, even if no one says anything. You notice when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes. You can tell when your friend says, "I'm fine," but something is clearly off. You might even find yourself predicting arguments before they happen, or adjusting what you say based on what you pick up in the other person's face or voice. You're not overthinking for no reason. Your mind was trained to scan for danger and rejection. The empowering side, that same hyper-awareness, can become incredible emotional intelligence. You might be the one friend people open up to, because you notice when they're not okay. You might be good at certain jobs without realizing why. Customer service, design, counseling, management, anything where reading people matters. You might be able to sense group dynamics quickly and adapt in ways other people can't. Research suggests that this kind of sensitivity can be a quiet superpower in relationships and careers. Yes, it can be draining at times, but it also means you're better at truly seeing people. Trait number 3, a rich inner world and powerful imagination. If you didn't have many friends as a kid, your mind probably became your playground. You made up stories. You created imaginary worlds. You talked to yourself, to characters, to future versions of you. You might have spent hours drawing, writing, playing solo games, or just daydreaming in your room. While other kids had busy social calendars, you had a busy inner life. Psychology shows that solitude and boredom can actually boost creativity. When the outside world is quiet, the inner world gets louder. The brain starts filling the empty space with ideas, images, and possibilities. As an adult, this might show up as you're always in your head, making up dialogue, scenarios, and what-if situations. You get random bursts of ideas, creative projects, business thoughts, new approaches. You enjoy books, movies, games, or music deeply, almost like you're living inside them. Maybe people have called you distracted or spacey, but what's really happening is that your inner world is vivid. The empowering side, that imagination, is not just escapism. It's a tool. It can help you solve problems in unconventional ways. It can help you understand other people's perspectives by stepping into their shoes in your mind. It can fuel art, writing, music, design, or even creative problem solving in everyday life. Research indicates that people who were more imaginative as children often carry that flexibility of thinking into adulthood. They can connect ideas that others don't see, and that's incredibly valuable in a world that rewards innovation. Trait number 4, high standard for connection and strong boundaries. When you grow up without friends, one of two beliefs can form. I'll take any attention I can get. Or, I'm not going to settle for just anyone. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you lean toward the second. You know what it feels like to be around people and still feel alone. You know how painful fake friendships and forced small talk can be. So as an adult, you might be very selective about who you let close. This might look like you don't have a huge friend group, but the few people you trust mean a lot. You feel drained by shallow conversations or gossip. You'd rather be alone on a Friday night than hang out with people you don't feel safe with. You notice red flags quickly and pull back. Psychology suggests that early experiences of exclusion or loneliness can make people more sensitive to authenticity. In other words, you can often tell when someone is being real with you or just playing a role. The downside is that sometimes you might seem distant or hard to get to know, but underneath that is a deep respect for genuine connection. The empowering side, you have the ability to build very meaningful, loyal, and honest relationships because you're not just collecting people for the sake of not being alone. You value sincerity. You value depth. You value people who truly see you. And because you know what it feels like to be on the outside, you may also be kinder and more protective of others who seem left out. You might be the person who quietly makes sure no one is sitting alone, or checks in on a friend who disappeared from the group chat. That's not a weakness. That's a rare emotional standard. As we wrap up, take a moment and notice which of these traits felt familiar. Deep self-awareness and emotional independence. Hyper-observation and reading the room. A rich inner world and powerful imagination. High standard for connection and strong boundaries. Growing up with no friends is not some cute, inspiring story. It hurts. It can leave you with doubts, fears, and insecurities that don't just vanish. But it can also leave behind these quiet strengths that most people never learned because they never had to. You're not broken for how you turned out. You're not too much for needing depth. You're not weird for liking your own company. You're not paranoid for picking up on things others ignore. You adapted, and those adaptations are part of what makes you unique. If this video made you feel seen, remember, you're not the only one who grew up like this, and you are allowed to own both your pain and your strengths at the same time. You deserve real connection now, the kind that matches the depth you've carried alone for years. If you want more calm, honest insights about your personality, your past, and the way your mind works, subscribe to this channel. We talk about the parts of you that other people overlook and help you turn what you thought were problems into hidden strengths. Thank you for being here and for staying until the end. Take care of your inner child today. They went through a lot to give you the strengths you have now.